Delicious debate. Biggest change since Jay Woodcroft has come in. Mr. Yaremchuk, your question. I'm starting with you. You're at the end of the table.
Motivation. Team looks to be playing a lot more motivated. They look to be playing with a lot more passion and purpose. And I know those words may sound like a little bit weird, but I stand by this. Like, I really do think that the coaching change sparked the team in a way that a lot of us thought it would. And they're playing really strong. There's more scrums in a game now. I think they're finishing their checks a little bit more. Part of this is the arrival of Evander Kane, but I do also think a part of this sort of new style they're playing and this new sort of swagger they have is, in fact, because of the coaching change. I think it kind of woke some guys up.
Rick?
I think it's a little bit of two things. I think confidence is through the roof right now, but I think they got to that confidence by spreading out the ice time more evenly, I guess you could look at. You've seen it in interviews from guys on just kind of telling you know what, this coach, that coach. You've seen it. I don't think Tippett was very flexible. I think he was kind of rigid. And now you have a flexible coach coming in here who's coaching the players, not just trying to be a head coach of a team, but he's actually coaching the players in order to make their game better. And I think that's kind of where their confidence has gone up.
Tyler, word association, portage.
Portage, that's when you carry a canoe on the top of your head, right?
Yes.
Nice.
You have a minute that you have to fill, though.
Dan, what's the biggest difference with Jay Woodcroft on the bench?
Well, one of my favorite wrestling times to be alive was the Attitude Era, and I think we've entered a new Attitude Era in this Edmonton team.
Was that Stone Cold?
That was during the 2000s, 90s.
That was good wrestling.
Mid-90s,
Yeah.
like 97-ish.
The
That was good wrestling.
Management versus the machine kind of idea. And so for this team, for me, it's just been an attitude thing. And when this team's gone down, and it's happened, in the last 3 games, I think we've been down twice, and it just doesn't feel like this team is done. When they go to the bench, they're actively being coached still in there, and it's not just it doesn't just feel like they're going back to the bench to have a coach staring down at them, feeling like, I know what I did wrong and I need to fix it kind of thing. Instead, it's here's what we're going to do to fix it. And this team is relentless in its carrying out of the Manson and the Woodcroft kind of style of coaching. So I love it. It's been fantastic to watch. It's just been neat to watch this team with a new era of an attitude and an ability to fight through some of the tribulations that they had before.
It has been interesting to see, and I get part of it too is just because he's a coach early on, familiarizing himself, but like Woodcroft in the ear of the players a lot, and it doesn't look like he's in their ear scolding them. It looks like it's just legit conversations going down.
Well, a lot of the players have talked about that, right? Just the attention to detail and what it's like to have that communication going. We're going to get to that in a sec. But the biggest difference for me is just the general vibes are just so much more positive. When you listen to Jay Woodcroft speak, be it before practice, after games, the way he talks is very interesting. His word choice is interesting. It's very flowery in a sense, and it's very positive. He always puts the team first. Unless I've missed something, I've yet to hear him call somebody out or say anything about a specific player unless he was asked specifically about somebody. And I think that's really interesting. It's always team. And I think the players are responding to that because, let's be honest, they were a little bit fragile after the last 8-10 weeks, no?
We'll see what happens, though, after they get a couple of losses in a row.
Yep.
Like, it's inevitable. It's probably going to happen.
Never. Undefeated.
God, I love that. It's we'll see what happens. But I do believe that this coach is just better at coaching the players, not necessarily just being the head coach of the team, but he's coaching. And you're seeing that from the defensive side, too. And this 7 defenseman thing, it seems like such a simple idea that I'm actually kicking myself for not thinking of it before. Like, you have a couple.
You could have been the head coach.
Yeah, or at least I could be sitting here going, you know what, guys, I told you to do that. I told you to do that. I did it. Now it works. It's just you have a couple of rookies. All of a sudden, 18, 19 minutes is too much. Well, you've put in a third guy. You've got the offensive power to they're playing with 10 guys anyways. They're not even using an 11th player. We've seen it with Devin Short, right?
Yeah.
So they're not even using all 12 players. They're not even using 11. They're using 10. Why not utilize that with the defense and kind of spread out the minutes a little bit more and let those rookies handle those minutes better?
Devin Shore is having a hashtag bad time.
Well, and to talk to your point too, Rick, about the defense and the addition of those guys, couldn't have had these injuries to the defense happen at a better time with this coaching change. Having Woodcroft come in, and he's able to work with guys that he's been working with at the AHL level in Niemelainen and Broberg, and the struggles that we saw with those guys specifically when Dave Tippett was the head coach, where he would just immediately bench them and never see from them for the rest of the game. is not the case anymore. These guys are allowed to make mistakes and allowed to have issues that then they work through. It's been phenomenal to watch.
I think that's a great point as well. And like the way Manson's been able to work with the young guys who he'd be familiar with, and also just sort of make this sort of not scrap heap blue line, but it's spare parts right now, right? It's 7D, man. No one's playing with the same pairing. Manson's making it work, and it has me thinking that, okay, you're going to get Duncan Keith back eventually. Maybe you go out and get a really good lefty at the deadline as well. And it's like, how good can Dave Manson make that blue line that we might be looking at in 6 weeks here after the deadline?
And another thing that's a difference is they're feistier. You can give some of that credit to Evander Kane. He's spicy out there. That's the way he plays. Like, he popped Brendan Lemieux in the mush the other day. I loved it.
Some people hate this, but you got to give it to their goalie too. Mike Smith has always brought that.
Mike
out
Smith
in
has
those
bought
players.
very, very well. But I also just think that it's nice seeing guys get in the pile. It's nice seeing scrums. You don't see NHL teams that never get into that shit. And I thought that the Oilers weren't a lot early in the season, but now they seem to be playing for each other a little bit more passionately.